Picture this. You're a student in high school and the class you're taking right now is boring. So much so that you take the smallest of cat naps in class. Well, the problem is no one woke you up when class was over. Those guys. Well, now you're on your own to face the incoming typhoon? Uh-oh. As you look for a way out, you meet another student in a strangely similar situation to yours. Together, you try to find a way out. You get the great idea to call for help, but on your way to the office, everything disappears. What happened to you? Is any of this even real? We're going to talk about all of that in today's review. Hey everyone, it's Sumi, and today we're taking a look at Detention. Detention is a psychological horror game that came out in 2017 and was created by the independent Taiwanese developers Red Candle Games. The game is set in 1960s Taiwan during an event called the White Terror, where Taiwan was under martial law. We are introduced to our main character, Wei, who falls asleep in class after his teacher, Miss Yin, is called out to talk to an officer about a book list of some sort. When he wakes up, however, he gets trapped in his school right as a typhoon is about to hit it. He meets a girl, Ray, who is also stuck in the school, and they try to make a plan to escape. When Wei goes to call for help, he disappears. Hello? What? I'm getting really slow. Wait, where did I disappeared? As it turns out, Wei is not our protagonist, Ray is. We now follow Ray as she wakes up in an eerie and decrepit version of her school auditorium, one where Wei is now dead and strung up. Awesome. The rest of the game follows Ray as she wanders around the school, completing puzzles, avoiding angry spirits, and piecing together the story of what happened to this place and to her. And that story is actually a very sad one. Ray was a great student with a bright future, but her parents' relationship was falling apart at home. Ray's unfortunate home life led to her asking her school counselor, Mr. Chang, for help. A great choice and example for all. Always ask for help when you need it. However, the less good example is how she and Mr. Chang ended up starting a relationship together. Not so good. What Ray didn't know is that Mr. Chang and Miss Yin were leading an illegal book club, smuggling banned books to students. Wei was one of those students. Ray overheard Miss Yin talking to Mr. Chang after she found out about his relationship with Ray and misunderstood it as Miss Yin trying to take her man. In an attempt to stop this potential relationship block, Ray talked Wei into giving her a copy of the illegal book list, as though she wanted to read them too. But instead of actually reading them, she turned it into the military officer at her school. As a result, Miss Yin had to flee the country, which is exactly what Ray wanted, but unfortunately for her, it didn't stop there. The students in the book club knew that they were in danger and they tried to burn the books and cover up the evidence, but they were discovered and arrested, Wei included. Mr. Chang was found out for his involvement and he was executed. Sure, Ray got an award from the military officer for her part in the situation, but as you can probably imagine, the other students at the school were not exactly happy with her, calling her a snitch and bullying her relentlessly. Ray couldn't take the guilt of her actions and she ended up killing herself. Now this game has two endings, and the player's actions at the end of the game determine which ending you get. If you choose to deny her actions, Ray is trapped in a cycle of memories and darkness, forever in a state of unrest. If you choose to accept the guilt, Ray is able to look at her mistakes and come to a place of relative peace. I like to think of accepting the guilt as the good ending, and seeing grown-up Wei after being released from prison sitting across from Ray's spirit just feels right. This is a single-player, side-scroller point-and-click game, and as someone who just tends not to love point-and-click games, this one actually just felt so smooth. The graphics of the game were seamless with the background and the foreground, and it was all so beautifully done. It was gorgeous and horrifying all at once, with the 2D atmosphere looking like some kind of haunted painting at all times. It was graphic and bloody at times, and at other times it relied on its haunting atmosphere to scare you. And let me tell you, it worked. This game was scary. Not always in a jump scare every corner kind of way, though it did have some very good jump scares. Counselor's office is on the 3rd floor. Ow! Forgotten or just too... Ah! But in a daunting doom and gloom kind of way. The longer you played, the more you just felt like a heavy blanket of dread was falling over you. The more you learned, the more you realized the gravity of what happened to this girl and to her classmates. Add on the creepy ghouls wandering around they have to avoid by not breathing or giving them food or turning away and also not breathing. It was frightening. I do think that a lot of the scariness of the game is offset by just how cool I found it to be. I'm a really big fan of games where you discover the story as you go, and that's exactly how this game plays out. This game drops nuggets of information all around, but it only starts to really connect the dots in the last third of the game, where the hints become more and more obvious and the connections between them become really, really clear. The story starts to flesh out as we see a variety of notes, letters, flashbacks, and puzzles, all about the events that led up to Ray's eventual death. But often, the events are out of order or warped in some way. We even see Ray's death early in the game before we can even process what happened or understand why. I personally really liked the layout and design of the game. I also honestly really enjoyed the puzzles. Sometimes you would find a puzzle where the solution was later in the game, but once you found that missing piece, the solution was never too obscure that I couldn't figure out what to do with it. I thought the puzzles were really clever and creative and used really cool mechanics, like this radio where each station puts you in a different time. The atmosphere in the rooms changed. Whoa! There were only 2 puzzles that I had a hard enough time with that I needed to go look up the guide for, so for a 3-hour-long game, only needing help twice was pretty dang good in my books, especially because I'm not the best at puzzles. I'm not great at them, but even at my skill level, I found the gameplay to be really enjoyable and not too frustrating. I loved the way that this game played out, and it's definitely one that I would recommend to any of my fellow horror fans out there. Though I do want to caution you, it does have themes of suicide and depression, and it's not super subtle about it. It can get graphic, but if you think you can take it, it is well worth the play. This game is about 3 hours long to complete and only costs about $13 on Steam. So go try it and let me know what you think. Hey, thanks for watching. If you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button. It really helps the channel out a lot. I hope you have a great day or night or whatever time it is for you, and we'll see you in the next one.